This film tells the story of 5 child victims of trafficking in French society as an example of domestic slavery, sexual exploitation and begging. It was shown during this panel at the UN Geneva Cinema Room on June 9th. The objective was to raise public awareness and exchange information to identifying, preventing and accompanying children victims.
We see that there are still those gaps, those black holes where these things can happen in the invisibility, and no one really cares. So I think this medium, the film, is very important.
And you have the dramatic choice of disregard what is going on and pretend it's not happening, which is the way we are used to behave, unfortunately, or behave empathically, helping the other.
According to the FBI, social media has opened up access, but also increasing violence, stereotyping and sexualization in movies and on TV are contributors.
Yes, I think media are very much responsible of the increasing numbers that we have in children prostitution. For sure, nowadays, young generation learn sex through porn films on internet. Young generation become more and more violent because they watch more and more of these violent films.
Children are particularly vulnerable to trafficking and exploitation in the context of migration, as displacement creates familial instability by weakening or destroying family bonds or community structures.
Education should be the first step toward sensitizing the children about it.
Oui, allô? Oui, elle est là. Oui.
I think people should be more aware about it and should be a good listener for a cry of our kids.
I think the same event that we celebrated today is probably one of the best, best prevention measures that we can have. It means gather the tragic experience of people who survived and who came through this somehow without major harm. And they can be not only show the problem, the magnitude of the problem, but also they are also kind of accusing us that are so indifferent in the front of such a tremendous tragedies.
So it's a phenomenon that has been realized more and more is a reality everywhere, and we need to help everyone to understand that this is in fact happening, which is while it's invisible.
The Pope knows that, and the Catholic Church is very much aware of that, especially with regard to what children, migrant, and especially unaccompanied migrant children. And the Pope dedicated to this theme a very substantial part of his message for the Day of Migration. Also, the bishops of Central America are very actively participating in the faith-based initiative called Clamor, where many Christian and other denominations are joining forces in order to defend those unprotected and exposed to trafficking.
But does the public really understand the trauma victims went through? No, not really. I myself even have a hard time to comprehend what happened to me 20 years ago and how people, maybe your neighbors, are capable of such atrocities. The information gathered during this panel will contribute to the data used by the UN Special Rapporteurs on Trafficking and Child Prostitution in their next report to the UN General Assembly this fall.